Hello, happy December. Amy Bartizal, your vlogger, and I wanted to talk to you today about the Word Detectives unit. A lot of us are using this unit right after the launching unit that starts off in the units of study. It's a great second unit to do. This unit does have a lot of gimmicky things, which now I've done it 2 years in a row and the kids really buy in completely. So I would suggest that you go for it. Be an actress or an actor and ham it up. It's all about the super secret detective agency and learning how to solve mysteries, which are actually just tricky words. There are some things that you're going to want to get into place before you start this unit. If you're so inclined, you can order some cheap little things off of Amazon. At one point, very early on, it calls for these little hand lenses. You don't have to get these exact ones. These were very inexpensive on Amazon. So we've ordered these. And toward the very end of the unit, they get word scanners, which are really these little finger lights. And they can use those as they're reading. And I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, will the kids really read? Will they just play? They will play for a little bit. I always let them play for a little bit first. And then the rule is if you're not reading with it, then I take it away. But mostly they're really effective just in keeping the kids' interest, because I'm sure as you've noticed by this time of year, read to self and partner read, kids have a lot of other things they'd like to be doing during that time, but the gimmicks actually really help. Another thing they get is they get their own Word Detective badges, so you will want to make sure that you make these ahead of time. We went ahead and put them in little plastic sleeves and used their little sticker pictures that come on picture day, so that they felt like they had a real badge. And they covet these. And again, anything that becomes a toy, I take until you prove that you can handle it. So this bend starts with you receiving an envelope in your classroom with a letter from the super secret detective agency and 5 missions about solving tricky words. I, again, make a big deal about this. Sometimes I enlist someone else in the building to deliver the envelope. We close the door because the envelope says confidential across the top. Subsequently, every day that we've worked in this unit, as soon as I mention the detective agency, my kids clamor to say, close the door, close the door. They feel like they're really part of some kind of secret club, which is the reading club, and we want them to be in it. The first bend is about how to be a word detective. So these are really the main mini lessons that happen in this bend, making sure that kids aren't just breezing past words they don't know, really noticing that they don't know it, and then letting them know that we're going to give them the tools to be able to stop and solve that word. There's lessons about looking very closely. That's the lesson where the super secret detective agency sends the little box of hand lenses. Using everything you know, this is where I point them back to our previous units and talk about continuing to do all of these things when you're solving a tricky word, and then doing a slow check, which is very similar to looking closely, except that the point of this lesson is after you've looked closely and you've used everything you know and you think you know what the word says, do a slow check and make sure. One of the main points of this unit is for kids to learn to check their own reading and to ask themselves, does it make sense? Does it sound right? Does it look right? The biggest tip I want to give you for this bend is, unlike the previous unit, the first unit of study, where you could mostly prepare that morning early before school starts, or the night before, you could just read the lesson and be ready. This does require some more advanced prep than the last unit. So there's a lot of cool things that you can print off. You can enlarge them if you want to. Having all of this stuff ready. And there's a lot of places where in the mentor text, which in the first bend is Country Mouse and Town Mouse, where she either asks you to mask a word, and I found cutting off the sticky part of a Post-it note and sticking just that strip over the word, and then using the book on the document camera, that seems to work best. Then you can peel it back really slowly, part by part, so that you can model for kids how to look closely and how to do a slow check. But that, cutting up the Post-its and masking the words, it doesn't take a tremendous amount of time, but you do need to make sure that you are ready a little bit before the lesson. Also, there are times where they ask for words to be highlighted, so I highly encourage, I've bought several rolls of highlighter tape. That's also really useful. Again, you want to have done that ahead of time. So it isn't a really labor-intensive unit, but I have found I have to be prepared a little bit farther in advance than I did during the last unit. The last thing I want to share with you is using the section after each lesson, which is conferring and small group work. There are lots of things you can do during reading conferences and small group instruction. We definitely are using our ERLA toolkits during that time, and I'm going to guess that like me, you have a variety of other sort of resources that you've collected over the years that might make sense to use with a particular group on a particular day. If you're needing additional things to focus your conferring in your small group, as I often am, there are some really rich lessons in here, and it's real easy to identify which kids might be in need of some of these things. So this is what I showed you previously about the word detectives checking. This makes a great, she has it as a mid-workshop teaching point. It also makes a great small group lesson. She's got a lot of great tips when you're transitioning to partner time. We continue to work on making our partner reading time really beneficial for kids and not just to playtime, making sure that they're reading and talking about the text. So anchor charts like this, again, you can print this off on the Heinemann website. As you can, all of the things in here, all of the letters from the super secret detective agency, all of the mission clues, it's all there for you, ready to go. But this has really helped focus our partner reading time. It's also given me additional things to do during conferring during partner reading and during small group lesson time. If I see that I've got maybe 3 partnerships, that's going to be 6 kids that are really struggling with appropriate talking during partner read, I might pull them into a small group lesson and go over the really specific sentence starters and things that you can do with your partner. So there's just a treasure trove of really great things in here. The other thing about this unit is it does start to talk about things like beginning sounds and ending sounds and vowel teams. And those are things that you're going to want to support during your word work or word study time in your literacy block. And I know that some people are holding out for to see what Teachers College comes out with. Some of us have already ordered either the Fountas and Pinnell or the Words Their Way. Whatever it is that you're doing during the word study time, you might want to look and see, again, looking ahead into this unit, what kind of things will play into the phonics strategies that are taught in the Word Detectives unit, because she does assume in this unit that you are doing word study and that you are already talking about those different phonics components. So use this as a resource. Definitely read a couple lessons ahead. It will help you a lot in planning and in making this match up with what you're doing in word study. I hope you have a great December. I know this last few weeks of school is challenging for all of us. One great thing if you're in the Word Detectives unit is all the gimmicks and fun do help keep the kids engaged and get us through until winter break. And if you do the unit after winter break, it's probably a great way to get everybody excited again about being back at school. So enjoy yourself, have fun, and I'll see you again soon.